Well, hey there team, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to XCOM Chimera Squad. This is a game that we're revisiting today. I'm quite fond of this game. I like all of the XCOM games, old and new, and all the other XCOM likes, you know, your Phoenix Points, all these sort of games, your Xenonauts 2 on the horizon. Chimera Squad gets a bit of a bad rap because it is a sort of a side project, right? It's not XCOM 3, and people were rabid for XCOM 3, so there was some disappointment. This is more of an XCOM 2.5 or 2 1/4 or a third or something like that. They've tried some different things with a bit of a fixed cast of characters, voice acting, which I find incredibly cringy and poorly written, so even though I am a fan of this game, it still suffers from modern writing 101, which is to say it's all crap. But the way that it has done it in a smaller sort of vignette diorama setting, the spaces you fight in are very small, and like I said, your cast of characters lean more towards a CRPG sort of setup, as opposed to nameless nobodies that you grow fond of as you do missions with them, and you have that emergent storytelling. So this is different. It's doing something different. And I wonder, with the reception of it, if we will actually see this sort of stuff in XCOM 3. Probably not, because I think widely a lot of people didn't love it, but I think it's really interesting. We're going to just start up a new playthrough. Normal, Iron Man, whatever, tutorial. I mean, I guess we can turn the tutorial off. Disable it. I know what I'm doing. Get out of here, game. Half heal, whatever. I guess if that's the default, then that's the default. The trappings of it are very much true to the well, that's all a bit spoilery, isn't it? In the prologue you have to try and rescue a mayor that's been held captive. The modern XCOM games, XCOM 1 is very, very difficult, and it's dealing with the traditional alien invasion, and the canon ending of it is that you actually lose. And XCOM 2 is some 20 years later. And it's actually got a really good story as a sequel, and it's unconventional, but it's very much guerrilla fighting. The aliens are essentially the superpower on Earth now, and you are fighting, guerrilla tactics basically. This is in the sequel to XCOM 2 sort of remains, in that it's a rebuilding effort, and this city that you're policing is at the center of the whole story and the narrative and the construction. You can see it's human, it's cross species. You got snake ladies in your squad and all that sort of thing. Can I just press? I have to choose my squad, do I? Well, you know what? I like Verge. I despise this chick so bad. If you deleted her from the game, I reckon I'd improve the review scores by a point. But she's a healer, so you have a bit of a hard time arguing not having her. I like this bloke, Cherub. I really like this dude actually. What else? I mean, Axiom, Godmother. I guess I don't really have a medic, but whatever. I don't care. I'm just showing off. Normally, when you play, I would actually suggest.
A short time ago.
Shush, I'm talking. It's the Scarlet Show. I would actually suggest you just play with the tutorial because it has narrative components to the construction. But the whole idea is that this is a new mega city that is, after the fall of the Advent, humans and aliens working in together and coming together. So it's melting pot to the 1000th degree. It's really interesting, and you're essentially an extreme crimes enforcement squad, you know, a SWAT equivalent, helping out the city going through its growing pains. So you got to pick which of these 3 that you're going to go after, you know. Alien scavengers have quietly amassed weaponry. Reclamation is mandated to recover. Okay. A loose network of human scions. Oh. Okay. City 31. That's what it's called.
Loyal human membership. All victims willingly hand over what the progeny need, then forget the whole thing. Perfect crime.
That's interesting.
Director, these are local criminals.
Well, yeah, we kind of adjust on it. 3-1 PD.
The Reclamation Agency supports local police, but we're also required to recover dangerous material.
Yeah, okay.
From those who would do the world harm, and each of those groups...
Focus on a single group. Investigate,
Yep.
dismantle their...
Cool.
Meanwhile, we look for any links to...
Anyway, so you've got these narrative components, which again, unusual for XCOM. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. The interpersonal stuff's unusual. You do have your sort of key playmakers in the briefing room in the XCOM games. Cool. Progeny in progress. Dark events, so you still have these sort of doom timers that come along as you go. Geez, that's a lot of stuff on the screen. This mission must be completed today. All right, I'll get around to it. So we've only got 4 dudes at the beginning, and you have to take 4 dudes. I think you have to. You can't bench one and put a robot in. Though there is a system that you can upgrade into where basically if one of your dudes goes down, because you guys can't die in this, that's something very critical. Like, they can get injured and they have to sit out and recover. So there's still mechanics there, but there's no permadeath per se, right? If they go down, you can have like an android step in mid-mission to fill their boots. But things like this assembly, in order to, well, I think you can run it Android tactical unit, Android personnel, yeah, sure. In progress. Okay, it looks like it works even without someone there, but you could put a person there to speed it along,
I'm authorizing Chimera Squad for special operations.
Yep.
Some ops provide useful resources for the squad.
Yep.
Keep an eye out for these opportunities.
So again, these are sort of side missions. You would have seen this if you played XCOM 2. You send your dudes on these sort of idle game-esque away missions. Again, we only have 4 guys, and you always have to bring 4, so you don't have a choice. But you've also got training billet as well, so you can slot dudes in here for training. Good to know, but not really something you can do straight out of the gate. Then you've got the armory, and you can have a look at your individual characters and go in and upgrade them, all their stats. So it's pretty standard fare.
Our temporary field office has
and then we've also got an inventory. Anyway, so the main thing
Welcome
is
to
this.
City 31. During Advent's occupation, the city was a fortress supporting an active starport.
Oh.
5 years after XCOM won the war, it's home to aliens, hybrids, and there's new industry, self-government, and local agriculture to support the varied population.
Yeah, good.
Against all odds, this city thrived
No
after
diet,
the war.
no restrictions. Cool. So essentially, you have these districts, you have these suburbs times 9. Now, we're a bit on rails because we've just started. What you can do, you really want to unlock these field team abilities. They're pretty helpful. Reduce district unrest. You can see everything has a little unrest level. And it's all 0 at the beginning, but it's one of those things, trying to manage it and then losing districts. Very much in the vein of losing people or countries on the world stage in XCOM-esque games, right? So you have to requires 1 more total field teams. That's right, so you buy field teams into here. I don't know if I'll be able to afford them yet. They cost intel. Oh, I guess I could. And then you can basically generate credits, intel, and Illyrium through them as well. So it ties into your 3-pronged economy, and there's the overall anarchy there. And presumably it acts as a doom timer, which you do get in these games, so once that hits top, it's probably all over Red Rover. Anyway, so for the moment, we're going to do this mission. Send APC to investigate the progeny.
Need leadership to function. If authorized by the director, you may need to neutralize a hostile leader.
Roger.
Subduing your target is always preferred.
Yes, that's a good point. He mentioned that. Well done, Whisper. You should speak up. Meleeing down dudes into a down state makes it so that you can capture them because you are a peacekeeping police force. That's supposed to be the idea. And I believe for each person you capture, you get a bonus 5 intel, which is your research currency. I think that's it. Or at least that, I don't know the numbers, but that's the idea. So you're incentivized to try and take people down without killing them. You can see here, difficulty, what's this? Window, door, wall, security door. So it's a bit of a gauntlet where you go from vignette to vignette, little dioramas, and you breach, which we'll see, but you've always got the boring go in the front door, and you're at the mercy of whatever random negatives might come from that. However, if you have like breach charges, or even certain characters like the Snake Lady can go through air vents, for example. So there are different avenues to initiate from different breach angles. And this can also be dictated by equipment. I wonder, do we have breach items? We started with a breaching charge, and we'll put it on little old, what's his name? Cherub, because he tends to go in the front door. Have any utility items? No. And it was just the breaching charge. And again, you know, you've got all these equipment slots and you can change their... Well, you can't really change their weapons, I don't think. Maybe you can. but you can definitely upgrade the weapons and put attachments on it. I think it's more that the replacement robots, who are definitely the weaker choice, you can customize them a little bit more.
PD asked to speak with
God, this is a good game. However, it will forever live in the shadow of it's not XCOM 3, right? It's not the sequel that a lot of noisy people didn't get. And while I appreciate their position, that doesn't make this a bad game. I will say though, there was a part in its history, I don't think it does it now, where they switched it to a 2K launcher, which is the publisher, and it kind of broke the game on Steam for a while, because I remember even trying to play it and I couldn't. And so I can understand people being angry about that. People are already a bit funny about third-party launches anyway. It's not great when it breaks a game that you've already bought years ago. But they seem to have fixed that, right? So yeah, like I said, it suffers from the indefensible offense of not being XCOM 3. Okay, so here we go. We've got a couple of different ways in. Low visibility, enemies are harder to hit. Successful shots on enemies will crit. Well, that's cool. All units entering here get plus 25 aim during the breach. During the breach. So is it just during that first step through? Last unit through this entrance is marked until the end of the encounter. Oh, jeez. That doesn't sound very nice at all. Okay, well, what if we put, because we have to at least put 2 up the guts. See, this gives us an angle. Or shield. Here we go. Who do we want to have better aim? Well, I don't know. Let's put Godmother up there. Let's put Verge up here. Put Cherub in the front, and Axiom, you can handle the mark. And they all have really different ways of playing. He charges up shield charges, and then he can convey them as sort of temp invulnerabilities onto teammates. So he has a tank hybrid support sort of position. This dude I really enjoy because he's just a nut job that you're trying to make him go angry, and then he just attacks random stuff out of your control. So I guess there's a feathering there of trying to calm him down when he's ready to die, that sort of thing. So, this is the unique mechanic of this, as I suppose the asymmetric warfare was in XCOM 2. So you initiate everything with a breach. You can tab through your targets, surprised. I mean, but it probably makes the most sense to hit this dude. There we go. Crit, not bad. What do we got here? I mean, they're all in surprise state, but you also get like aggressive, I can't remember the particular terms, but some of them will like fire back immediately, right? So surprise is good, but you might be incentivized to hit certain dudes. Yeah, that should crit, yeah. The front door was guaranteed crits, right? 78%, eh? Oh, look at that. We're doing some damage now. So he's only got 1 shot and it's 53. Wow, oh wow, we nearly wiped the entire encounter. That's pretty wild. You know what we will do, because he doesn't have Overwatch, we will run up and subdue. And that should just finish the encounter. There you go. There's office workers and that. So that was a pretty good first run.
Their movements were synchronized. Reminds me of my old Advent training.
Yeah,
This
right.
could all be sorted after we end the threat they pose.
True. Big true. So that's you know, that was a pretty textbook smashing. It's never ever that way. But you just move from stage to stage, and you can see down here, encounter 2 of 3. So what's this? Successful shots on enemies during breach will stun. That's really tempting. There are fewer aggressive enemies present at this entrance, the security door, which you need a key, which we don't seem to have actually. That's all right. The main door seems better, and I believe you can actually change the order as well. See how it says 1 and 2? So that will change the initiative order of what's, like if you want to have the guys at the security door go before the main door, right? It's initiative order, right? Okay. Well, we'll put Cherub there, Axiom, just sort of standard running order. They will unlock abilities, not just bought items, that depending on their running order, they can do different things as well. So there's a lot of customization that comes. Oh, 100%? Easy. Even if it doesn't kill him. Hitting him for the stun is what we're about, right? Though, it looks like we're just taking names anyway. So he's alert, so he seems to get a turn after that. Yeah, alert, and there might be aggressive as well. I can't quite remember. Alright. So Cherub's up. And what we might do is, you can see team up. Oh, that's right, team up. Coordinates with the target, unimpaired ally, moving them up to next on the timeline. Team up ability is shared between the entire squad and can only be used once per mission, not just encounter. So it's a very powerful one-shot thing that pulls someone up the initiative order. You don't want to use it if you can help it. Preparation. Increasing his defense by 30 and dodge by 50. And then moved up. Oh, okay, cool. So it's sort of like hunker down, I guess. So I think what we really want to do is move forward. And then... yeah, because he doesn't have hunker down. The enemy has hunker down. And then what we're actually going to do is kinetic shield. Place an energy shield on self or ally. So he can choose to put it on someone else, which we'll do.
Armored up.
And that will mitigate all damage, but it also gets expended. And that then in turn charges him up as well. All right. Now, remember we chose of the three factions, the sort of human psychic faction. So for this campaign, roughly a third of the game at the beginning, we're going to be versing these dudes. So there could be an imbalance component to that. Psych up. Increases his rage. High rage, high chance of applying disabling effects with melee attacks, but increases the risk of going berserk. Alright. Smash. Oh, well, how do we not do that? Go get him, big dog.
Hostile off the board.
Yeah.
Confirm.
Now, is he unconscious or is he dead? Hard to tell. So it's all a bit of a cakewalk because we just started a new campaign. This one is your boss room, basically, so it should be a bit tougher. Now, what do we got here? Well, we did bring the breaching charge. All non-aggressive enemies guarding the entrance are surprise. Okay. Last unit through will receive an extra action point. That's pretty big. Last unit through is guaranteed to land their shot. Successful shots on enemies during breach will stun. Well, I mean, we definitely want at least one on each side, even if it's just for the last one through. All non-aggressive enemies are surprised. Honestly, sending just him through probably taps that the best. Last one through is guaranteed to land their shot. Maybe we put Godmother last because she's got the shotgun, right? Yeah, let's give this a go.
Making a path.
Follow me.
Go, go, go! Alright. Zap him. Might as well finish him off. Oh, there you go. We're just taking names. But there's a bunch of dudes in the room that, well, that weren't near the door for the breach. Oh look, they're trying to capture or kill the suspect. He's trying to escape. There he is. Can't have that. Alright, little cherub. What are we going to do with you? Maybe maneuver appropriately and charge that shield. It's a good habit. Oh, it's all coming back to me. What's going on here? 50? Yeah, we do not want to kill them if we can help it. Maybe I'll just go Overwatch.
Keeping a lookout.
I can reach it.
Oh! Terrible shooting,
So
mate.
close.
Back to the range. No, it wasn't even close.
I can still fight.
Mate, he just zapped ya. Let's go.
Crashing the party.
Let's go, punchy boy. Alright, so this guy's got psychic powers. Battle Madness, so he can make them attack each other, but he can also put Stupor, which is a bit of a stun. It does need line of sight. So we might see if we can put a stun on this dude. Now the thing is, if you ever played the XCOM games, this species that he is, it's sort of a psychic network he's tethering him onto. So now he's tethered to him, you can't just keep tapping him psychically. So you can't abuse it, right? It's sort of like once only, and now he's in the brain network. Oh yeah? Stop resisting.
Arrested the target.
There you go. And then we'll do this, we'll fight this guy as well. So you're not always going to be able to get away with just meleeing everyone down. Often you're getting gunfights and you have ambush scenarios, fights on the freeway, all sorts of stuff, so this is just a bit smaller scale. Slightly wounded. From 3 captured enemies, there is a 60% chance to earn 20 intel. Ah, that's actually a really clever system. Are we assuming that 5 gives 100%? I'm not really sure. You could test and adjust, but it's not that it's bankable. It's like, oh, I only need 10 intel, so I'll only capture 2 people. You're kind of incentivized to capture as many people as physically possible to skew the die roll, which is good because that lines you up with the behavior of SWAT, right? You kind of want to capture everyone.
Need for funding. They have no love for hybrids, which presumes a motive to kill the mayor.
Right.
As for means, psionics could give them the ultimate insider. A member of Mayor Nightingale's protective detail.
It's kind of cool, you know, like, no one really likes ham-fisted browbeatings of politics and that getting injected into your games, but that doesn't mean, and this is where a lot of people miss the nuance, especially when they're personally impassioned by a cause, it doesn't mean that having thematic elements is a bad thing, right? In this case, it's kind of cool. It's dealing with this cross-species isms, and especially in this case, the idea of, you know, what do we do about these blokes that are bad actors with psychic abilities, infiltrating government and all that, right? It doesn't really have an answer, and it doesn't tell you what you're supposed to think, or at least that's how it presents in the early stages. I haven't clocked it entirely. Hopefully, it doesn't shit the bed there, but that's the idea. There's nothing wrong with offering up interesting concepts and then letting the gamer make up their own mind. It's almost like you're treating them with respect or something. But I digress. So look, that should give you an idea of what the general loop is. We've got a new recruit here as well, so it gives you some choices. If we'd gone through the tutorial, we wouldn't have been able to pick those 4. It just gives you 4 by default. But here it does sort of just roll the roster. It's just 3 randoms. View meta content. What is this? Faction completion. Oh, okay, right. Cool. So this is sort of stuff across playthroughs and that. Unseen epic weapons, you know? So there's a lot of stuff here, you know. I've only got so many hours in the day. Maybe I will play through this, we'll see. Shelter, Blue Blood, Desperado. Yeah, okay, mate, sure. I mean, I might as well try this bloke. I don't think I've had him in me team before.
Hey, Shelter. It's not so bad.
I don't need my psionics to tell you're lying.
Oh, he's
Not lying, just
Caden.
morale building.
That's who he is.
I'll make do. Anything good to eat?
I saved some chili for you. A Red Bull in the fridge.
Now that's morale building.
Yeah, okay. That's fairly inoffensive. As far as the dialogue goes, that's, you know, fairly naff. But a lot of it gets pretty bad, especially with that medic chick. She's insufferable. But anyway, like I said, there's your pros, there's your cons. It's a great game, and like I said, it's going very, very cheap on spring sale, and it's already a cheaper installment because the developers knew full well that this wasn't a main entry, right? So pick it up, give it a go. It's really cool. I think it's really, really great, and especially for the amount that it's going to set you back, it's definitely a value proposition, even if you came out of it not exactly loving it. I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, team, let me know what you reckon. Otherwise, I might just leave it there for the time being, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.